Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Shall we get going?
We are going.
Do it.
Oh. Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Flerick.
And this is Mac.
Well, actually, Flerick, before we introduce our new fifth member of the podcast, I believe you need to introduce Mac a little bit more properly.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. This is the grand person that we made fun of for not winning all the time.
Yes.
Who, of course, ended up winning our prediction series
Naturally.
this time.
Yes.
Is Yokozuna Mac,
Thank you very much.
the one and only.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Those headphones don't fit at all.
No, they
but
don't.
she's adorable.
But she's
she
doing
makes
good.
up for it in cuteness.
She's trying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as you can see,
And
if
Lord-
you're watching on YouTube, the new fifth member of the podcast, Miss Riley. Riley, do you have anything to say to the people at home? She's a little camera shy.
Aw.
That's okay. Katie, if you can
Also
take my
joining
baby
us on the
away.
video feed is like a weird half and half of my wife, depending on where she's standing. That's really cool looking.
We've got Riley over here. Katie's babysitting the baby. for
Little
a
Jonah
bit,
Cucci,
so
Riley.
Figured we'd have Riley make her podcast debut now that she's 1 year old and it's acceptable to put babies on YouTube.
Some of our fans might have heard, her crashing a few episodes along with your dog Piper in a few of our previous episodes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we are here for the Aki Basho recap. We've got Teruno Fuji win to discuss here, but before we dive into all of that, Jake, why don't you tell
Sorry,
everybody
I
about
thought you were
some-
blasting through all of this stuff.
I know. That's why I was
Just
like,
diving
we've got
in.
all this stuff to do.
No,
Well, you can find
we
us on
are.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
We've got that automated now.
Yes.
That'll go right
Dang
in
it.
the middle.
How am I supposed to end the podcast early?
Awkwardly, like we did last time.
Yes.
But no, we did want to announce that this December at the North American Sumo Championships, me, Ryan, and Mac are going to be traveling to Vegas to do the ringside commentary.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I am excited to see a lot of the people that me and Mac met at Nationals and meet a whole bunch more. Ryan is going to have to leave the house.
I'm not comfortable with it, and I'll see if there's some way that I can just remote in from the hotel room in Vegas, but
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see how
yeah,
it
yeah.
goes.
Well, yeah, we'll see how it goes. It'll be a great time. Also, the live stream for the North American Championships will be commentated by Sumo Kaboom.
Hooray.
So that'll be a lot of fun. I will probably be watching the live stream while doing the commentary because I think they're more entertaining than we are.
Well, Jake, we need to fix
Smart
that.
plan.
We know what we need to improve on, which is a lot.
Yeah, which is
just,
murder.
just general talent, organization,
Yeah, we have a long way to go.
likability.
Yeah, we have a long way to go, but we'll get there.
Yeah, and only a few months to do it. That's going to be in early December, so keep an eye out for that.
All right, and before we roll into talking about Teruno Fuji's win, we have to go and we don't have to. We are honored to compliment the patrons of Grand Sumo Breakdown. So we're going to try this again. Mac has updated his technology, so he's not digging through his notebook like an 85-year-old man. Mac, will you please kick us off with some patron compliments?
To Corey with a K, your smile makes us smile.
Thora Cottrell, the salt wants to be thrown by you.
Who wrote this one?
Me?
I would punch the other GSP guys in the face without hesitation if Anna Tsukuhara asked me to.
Whoa!
All right,
or
Rob,
anybody off the street.
Or just in general. Sometimes I don't have to be asked.
whenever I'm feeling down and blue, I just remind myself that Robbie Gardner is somewhere out there doing their thing, and it brightens my day.
Quinn Deeds, your hairline is hella dope, and your eyebrows are on fleek. I feel like that would be better
We're kind
if
of
I knew.
scraping the barrel
Yeah,
for
I was
these.
about to say. I feel like it would be better if I knew what fleek was. So who the hell wrote that one?
That was me with help from my wife because I'm like, I'm running out of compliments. I don't know what to put on here.
Give us some youth slang.
Yeah, Gabby goes
She's-
for the youth.
She's a teacher. She knows what all the
Slang,
middle
youth
school
slang.
kids are saying or were saying 5 years ago.
You so fleek, no cap, yo.
Yeet.
Yeah.
Yeet.
You got it,
Yep.
bro.
Dab on them fools.
That's rad.
Jorge Lamarca, you're the nothing when people ask me what's on my mind.
And last for now, the ethnic mix-up. I love that name. I am not drunk. I am just intoxicated by you.
You.
All right.
I'm also drunk.
Yeah. it's 11 a.m. I figured you would be.
Yeah, no, I mean you're already 3 hours late for that if you wanted to catch me sober.
Mac, the punishment for this episode, and to explain to our YouTube viewers why Fleric is wearing a mosquito net on his head.
Suppose we should probably bring up the elephant in the room there.
I'm not really pleased with this one.
This is how I normally just go about my day. I don't know about you guys, but mosquitoes are a menace.
As we have mentioned in other episodes, Fleric is the best of us, and whenever, particularly I have to punish Fleric, I really don't want to, but in this case, I have to shoot Fleric with darts.
And Fleric has to thank you every time it happens.
Yes, and unfortunately, Fleric, my old dart gun broke.
Are you going to drink your coffee through your mosquito? I saw that almost. Oh, no. Oh,
He did it.
Oh, you monster.
Unfortunately, I went with a new one.
No,
And
no.
I'm sorry, but this is gonna hurt.
And this is I don't like
Move,
this.
move your coffee.
Why-
No, I'm not going to tell you when it's going to come.
But it will come.
But it will come.
This is so much worse.
Just know that
You should have picked sumo better.
just know that this hurts me just as much as it's going to hurt you.
No,
I
that
don't
doesn't
believe
help
that.
at all.
I'm just happy Jake and I can sit on the sidelines and enjoy this.
Well, there's enough power with this thing. There could be some ricochets.
Ooh, okay. Here's the thing. Your baby. How much does your baby want to be held by me right now?
Oh God,
Very
you
little.
shield.
All right, let's talk about the Aki Basho. As I've mentioned, Teruno Fuji is your winner with a 13-2 record. This is the 5th career Yusho for Teruno Fuji, his 4th in the past 7 basho. Our June Yusho winners, we had 2 of them this time. We had Miyogiryu from Maegashira 10 with 11-4 record, picking up his 1st career June Yusho. And you also had Endo from Maegashira 11, also with an 11-4 record, getting his 2nd career June Yusho. We only had 2 special prizes handed out this time. The Gino Show Technique Prize went to Miyogiryu, and if you paid attention to the quiz that we gave out on the Midway episode, you would know that this is the 5th career special prize for Miyogiryu and his 6th career special prize for Miyogiryu, and all of them are technique prizes, the Gino Show Technique Prize, just like the one he was handed out this time. And then you also have the Shukun Show Outstanding Performance Prize that was given to Daisho. This is his 4th career Outstanding Performance Special Prize and his 5th special prize overall. There were no Kanto Show Fighting Spirit prizes awarded this time. Onosho would have gotten one if he had beaten Tamawashi.
Thank you, Yokozuna Mac.
Onosho would have gotten a Fighting Spirit prize if he beat Tamawashi on day 15, but he could not do it. And Miyogiryu also would have gotten a Fighting Spirit prize if he had won a Yusho, which would have comprised of him beating Meisei and Teruno Fuji on the same day.
That is such an absurdly high bar.
Yeah, he couldn't even hurdle over the Meisei bar.
It's
So
so silly. I don't know.
they've been doing that a lot recently for the fighting. I feel like that's like the Outstanding Performance Prize. Maybe you put that on the Yusho, but like Fighting Spirit's just like, hey, you came out and did real good. Here's your Fighting Spirit
You
prize.
did it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny that Daisho is he's always getting that outstanding performance if he's getting anything, because he's always just like the spoiler.
Yeah.
You know,
In a lot of ways.
He got that award because he's a Maegashira that defeated a Yokozuna, and that Yokozuna won the Yusho. We haven't seen that happen in a while, but that is a way to
actually,
get the
that's true.
outstanding performance. Just if you get a Kinboshi against the Yokozuna that won the Yusho and you finish with a winning record, you're going to get the outstanding performance prize.
And plus, he got a Kinboshi over a Shin Yokozuna. That's bravo. Again, well done.
The first one that Teruno Fuji has given up in his career. And as we always like to highlight, Kageyaki has just completed his 6th straight basho with a losing record, and yet he's still not going to be falling into Juryo somehow.
I had not. Yeah, and one of them was a 5 and 10. Holy cow!
He's been real lucky with the Bodskes we've been having, where people have not been falling very far.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's played spoiler to me today, Kageyaki. Didn't he go against Ura or no?
No.
No.
So we'll get to that. We'll get to that when we talk about the
Okay.
prediction series. We'll talk
Yeah.
about what happened there.
I'm starting
Hold
to
your
get-
horses.
I'm sorry, we're getting there.
Oh, if only I knew some way too when we were going to talk about it, like an outline. I'm not looking at.
We make fun of Mac for using like paper notes, but I don't know if we should also make fun of you for using like invisible notes.
At least mine are in front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, flaring.
He's got it written in very tiny script on his mosquito net.
Yes. Yes. That's why it's here.
All right, let's talk about the Yusho race a little bit. Wasn't overly exciting. They threatened excitement at times, but really this was just Teruno Fuji all the way. He ended up with a one-match lead after day 5 or 6, and he could have clinched the Yusho on day 14 if Miyogiryu had lost then. He didn't. Miyogiryu lost on day 15, making an anticlimactic final match as Teruno Fuji was facing off against Shodai, and he needed to win that to win the Yusho, but ended up, Miyogiryu lost. It's yours anyways. Teruno Fuji went ahead and just beat Shodai handily anyways.
Yeah, convincingly.
Yeah. There was, after Teruno Fuji's second loss to Meisei this basho, there was a point where there was like 4 or 5 people one match behind, like Endo, Onosho, Okinoumi, Miyogiryu, and then the next day 2 out of 3 of those guys lost. 2 out of 4 of those guys lost, and the next day somebody else lost. So yeah, it wasn't overly exciting. There was some elements of drama in there. But Mac, how did this Yusho race compare in excitement to other bashos that we've seen this year?
Well, it wasn't Hakuho. I'm going to just start off with that. It wasn't Hakuho, but I was still on the edge of my seat for this one. It was a Shin Yokozuna, a guy that has completed the greatest sports comeback history I think any of us have seen to date. Not to say that more stuff won't happen, but this was his first time at the Yokozuna rank. A lot of pressure on him to perform well, and it was still just great to see how he would handle each one. We were used to Hakuho coming in with just this power, this prestige, this, nope, I am the badass, I am going to win. With Teruno Fuji, you didn't quite have that. His matches were a lot more drawn out. He had to think through a lot more. He had to adjust to his opponents a lot more. And to me, I love seeing that. I love seeing that change in the matches. I love seeing him adjusting his strategy and going against all these different types of opponents that are just like, okay, I can beat this guy. First with Hakuho, you're probably not going to beat this guy. I mean, you know what I mean when I'm saying with that? It's like you just know.
Yeah, that was something I was thinking about during the tournament, is that Hakuho has just this like whole prestige, I'm Hakuho, where he's won the match before he even enters.
Exactly.
Whereas Teruno Fuji, when he's the lone Yokozuna, he's getting everybody's best shot that they're going to put out that tournament. And he was able to take their best shot. He wasn't able to win as fast or as convincingly as he has been in the past, but he was still able to win 13 of those 15 matches. And I think that was really impressive.
And that's what drove my excitement up, because it was like, this is great because everybody's throwing themselves at him. You honestly didn't know what was going to happen. We thought Tamawashi was going to get him with those deep Nodawas, but he came back and got him. And then you had issues with Meisei and Daisho, but that's okay.
You had the Ura, who almost pulled off the most amazing miracle. I wouldn't say almost. He attempted to pull off
the Mawashi.
Well, yes. But if anybody could have done it, it would have been Ura.
Yeah.
If anybody could potentially win a match while being upside down and the other guy's already walking away thinking he won,
I got this.
You know that's an Ura situation.
No, just shoves him down like, no, get off.
I kind of got the vibe. It felt like that's probably what, sumo was like before Asashoryu and Hakuho, and they're just like, absurd dominance. We have like kind of the best guy as opposed to like a god.
Right.
It felt like we have a favorite. We have a guy who's clearly the best, as he proved for 2 straight weeks here. But yeah, it maybe if he can keep this up for a little while, he'll start getting that mystique. But it doesn't feel like he's there yet. He's just the best guy.
New minted, fresh mint.
I enjoy that. I think it's kind of weird and new.
Yeah, it's definitely a different flavor compared to Hakuho, which is kind of nice. Yeah, and he has like an obvious weakness, which is his huge taped up like knees and such. And what I always laughed during the Ura match when he actually went to go like Ashitori like lift up Teruno Fuji's leg, and I felt like he felt bad. I was like, oh no, he has bad knees as me. Maybe I should do something else. But
also, Teruno Fuji did not break my arm when he had the absolute opportunity to earlier in the match, so I'm not going to destroy his knees.
Exactly. Yeah.
I do think it was funny. I think it was Ura again, but he did an Ashitori to Kaisei.
Yeah, to Kaisei.
And he was just so ginger and gentle, like, I got your leg, just hop back up. All right, you okay? Put the leg back down, and we're good. And
then go rest it. Go do your exercises. You'll be fine. Thank you, Yokozuna Mac.
I'm sorry, Fleric.
Oh God,
It's
so
almost
much-
like a double punishment.
I don't like this.
yeah, this is kind of nice.
It's like in the TV shows where somebody has to like get rid of their dog because people are going to come and take their dog, and so you're throwing rocks at them. I'm so sorry.
Just
But you have to go.
It's Arya and Namiri all over again. Just go.
And then me and Ryan are just sitting there like watching with popcorn. This is nice.
keep it up.
I didn't lose. You can't shoot me.
Well,
Not necessarily. You just don't have to say thank you.
Ryan says, "Well,
hold on.
Can we
now.
outvote?
Hold
I
on.
think we can maybe vote Jake on this, Ryan.
No.
Sure, yeah. We just,
If
just
we
shoot one
outvote
other
Jake,
person.
then I'm falling in that category as well. We're not. That's a steep slope argument that I'm not getting involved in.
All right, Jake. He wanted to outvote you to shoot you. So how about we vote Ryan to shoot Ryan?
Mac, shoot Fleric
He
again.
almost.
All right. See, but there's the ricochet shot.
Yeah, but it hit my headphones. I've got protection.
Thank
So it
you,
doesn't
Yokozuna
count.
Mac.
Oh my God! All right, what's next?
So we already kind of talked about it, Fleric, but I did want to get your opinion on how did Teruno Fuji's sumo look compared to his previous 3 Yusho that we've seen him win?
Yeah, I would say it's fairly similar of what we've seen from him. It's just been very good Yotsu sumo. Like he just is a solid mass. He gets a good grip and he just wins the match from there. There were definitely a couple close calls, I would say, but like he was able to pull him out in the end. So I didn't notice a big difference between his sumo from what we've seen this past year.
It did feel a little bit more inevitable, I guess. There was less doubt, at least from me. I feel like I'm coming around to the idea that his knees are not as likely to explode at any moment.
Yeah.
Because that's been the narrative for us the whole year.
And
here.
that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for you to drop your guard.
yeah. So, yeah. Now he'll retire in between basho because his knees blew up.
Exactly.
Everybody knows about Teruno Fuji's sentient knees.
Friends of the show, Teruno Fuji's knees.
Yeah, I think I got the most inevitable win was probably against Takakeisho. Where Takakeisho suddenly decided, you know what? Let's get in a Yotsu belt match with Teruno Fuji.
Okay.
This is going to be a good idea. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, this is over.
Yes.
He may not have had much choice in it. I watched that a couple times, and like, it didn't seem like he was able to actually keep Teruno Fuji away.
Yeah.
But I totally agree. Like, it was instantly like, oh, okay, this is done.
Yeah.
I have
It
my
had-
theory
it-
about Takakesho in that match. We'll get to that when we talk about Takakesho.
It definitely had shades of what is it? Tochi no Shin when he was Ozeki, of where as soon as it became a belt battle, like you
Yeah,
just
it's
win
like,
it.
okay, and we're done.
And I'm feeling the exact same way with Teruno Fuji in the same way, but he has a little bit more that he can do, like with his. He has a few more bags of tricks and he's able to withstand a few more attacks.
Yeah.
Which is what carried him to Yokozuna, and it's been great.
All right, I'm going to continue keeping the fun fact segment alive all on my own. So Teruno Fuji, he is the 10th Yokozuna to win a Yusho in his Yokozuna debut, so 10 out of 73. He's the 5th to do it in the modern era. That's 6 basho per year, 15 days per basho. It typically only happened about once per decade. There were a couple of gaps of like 20 plus years between the Yokozuna winning in his first basho, but this is the first time that back-to-back Yokozuna have won their first basho
Oh, yeah, 'cause
as a
Kisei
Yokozuna,
got that.
because
Yep,
Kisei
Kisei.
did win his first basho as a Yokozuna, and then that's where he got injured and defeated Teruno Fuji twice to win that Yusho, and now Teruno Fuji also got injured, but now he's come back to win his first basho as a Yokozuna.
I'm looking back. Kakuryu took more than a year and a half to get his first Yusho as a Yokozuna.
Yeah. I wonder how long it took Hakuho. Probably like the
Minutes.
next basho.
I was about to say
but-
one
Yeah.
basho.
I'll go take a look real quick.
And I'm going to count this next thing that we're talking about as a patron.
His second one.
Yeah.
as a
Oh,
Yokozuna.
and then his next 28.
Yeah, I was about to say, from then he never lost.
Just about.
Yeah. I'm going to count this as a patron topic because I got into a little bit of a conversation with our buddy Josh on Twitter talking about particularly Teruno Fuji's treatment of Takayasu in the final moments that we saw Takayasu this basho. I'll just throw this out there. Is Teruno Fuji a dick?
Ooh.
I think so. I mean,
No, it's Kota Shogoku who's the dick.
That's basically, that's bringing up old memories of when we first started watching.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that he definitely did more late hits than I would want to see somebody do. But that's always been a thing with Hakuho as well. He it's a dominance thing for
Yeah.
sure, and I think that whether we like it or not, that's something that he's going to do. Just reinforce that he's the top guy. On the other hand, from the personal side, I hate him and he's dead to me. Because he massacred my boy and threw him out onto his tuchus. And
it was his right tuchus, wasn't it?
Yes, his right tuchus. That was the one on Takayasu was in particular because he got hurt. Certainly, colors the perception of what happened before it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it was.
If he had
just
shoved
stupid.
Takayasu out of the dohyo and Takayasu landed on his feet, I don't
That
think
would
people
be
would have brought that up as much.
Yeah, it would have been that was kind of unnecessary. But all the other time, the other 14 days or whatever, it's
Right.
that was kind of unnecessary. But the one where Takayasu gets hurt, of course, I am going to blow up about it.
Yeah.
But no, I hate that. I think it's stupid. But I get that it's going to happen.
Yeah. I think it's something that allows, we're seeing the top two guys in sumo are the two guys that kind of do it the most. Them and Aoyama likes to be kind of do that every once in a while. And there's multiple people that do. It's common in sumo, but I think we kind of see it most prevalent and most spotlighted on Hakuho and Terunofuji, but I do think it's probably part of the mindset that allows them to reach the rank of Yokozuna, to win 5 or 44 Yusho.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you're Hakuho, yes.
Yeah. The people, they were people who've been sumo for a long time, so they know they probably in situations where they thought they won on the Tawara, but then they end up not winning. So that's why they probably have that little late hit in their their repertoire.
Yeah.
Try to make sure they win the match.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it is part of the culture of sumo wrestling a little bit, and that we're kind of outside of, and so we kind of look at it as oh, don't do that. But I think it's frowned upon for Yokozuna. I think it's supposed to be beneath them to do that, but I think if you're a lower Rikishi, I think that's just stuff that I've heard.
Yeah, it's possible. I think even a senseless late push that throws them off the dohyo is something to me that feels wrong. That it's not good.
Yeah.
It just gets to that gray area is whether or not maybe the match wasn't over when they did that.
Yeah, and that Takayasu one, I think that's a real close call because when Terunofuji started that push, Takayasu was still in the dohyo.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of combination of bad luck for Takayasu. He was at the part of the dohyo where there's the least amount of room to kind of land on the dohyo without falling off 2 to 3 feet down on the ground. But did Terunofuji give him a little bit of extra stuff at the end of that shove? Probably.
Did Takayasu?
But it was also borderline.
Did Takayasu give up? How people kind of give up at the edge?
Yeah,
Like it's
Takayasu
over?
didn't give up there. Takayasu was still fighting to the end. That's why Takayasu didn't land on his feet, because he was trying to pull something on Terunofuji.
Right.
Maybe I can pull him or throw him so he lands before I do.
Yeah, that when it gets to that gray area, I usually try to give people a little bit of the benefit of the doubt on that. It gets where it's obvious, the match is won, then they do a late hit. That's kind of oh, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, and I don't see Terunofuji, I've seen Hakuho where he has somebody by the belt, escorts them out, and then shoves them off. You don't see Terunofuji do that. If he's shoving somebody off, he's been shoving them to get them out of the ring. It's not like I have you on the belt and now I'm going to needlessly shove you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's my view of it, too, at least. But I can kind of see how some people, like you say, it's a gray area how they perceive certain situations, how they think it's unnecessary.
Yeah. All right, and I want to...
I was going to take... thank you, Yokozuna Mac. I was leaning back saying, oh, that was a good discussion to me and Ryan. Ryan was bringing some good points. I was bringing some good points.
I'm going to take a sip of coffee and then bang.
That's why I waited until that was. I was like, oh, that's a very good conversation. Done.
Well, exclamation point on that guy.
You're the best, worst person, Yokozuna Mac.
I'm so sorry.
You made me do this to you.
I wanted to shoot them, not you.
I tried, but that late hit by Terunofuji, taking out Takayasu.
Curses.
Something I want to do, because I have a feeling we're going to be able to track Terunofuji's rise up the career Yusho ranks. Kind of want to start doing that a little bit more now. So as we're wrapping up our conversation on Terunofuji, he is now tied with 6 other Rikishi for having 5 career Yusho titles, and this makes him tied for 26 all-time in Yusho titles. So I have a feeling we're going to be able to track that as the next couple of years go on. I really want to see him get to 10. I think that would be awesome.
That would be fun.
And I think he has the opportunity with ailing Hakuho and nobody really stepping up to kind of challenge him.
It sure isn't Shodai.
Oh,
got him.
I was going to say, speaking of people who just aren't good enough to challenge him, the just good enough Ozeki. We'll start first with Takakeisho. There's a little bit more drama around him this basho. He did clear Kataban, and thank
Just
Christ for that,
barely.
because if he went down, we'd be down to Shodai as our only Ozeki, and it's only a matter of
Third
time.
best in the world. I mean, he's still like top 4, but still.
Yeah, and it's only a matter of time before Shodai leaves the rank of Ozeki, unless, as we realize, he is Goeido incarnate.
No, the desiccated corpse of Koeido is about dissolved at this point, so it's not looking good for Shodai.
But it wasn't looking good for Takakeisho either to start off this tournament. He started off 0-3. He was really looking like a guy that was coming back from a neck injury and didn't have power or strength or stamina to do anything. But then he realized, oh shit, I can't leave Shodai as the only guy here. I have to do something.
That was his motivation.
And so he did win 8 of his next 9 matches to save his Ozeki rank. And toward the last 3 to 4 matches of that, like the first few wins is like, all right, he's lucky he got a win there. But the last 3 to 4 matches of that is like, okay, that's the Takakeisho that's won to Yusho. And then after he hit the 8 win point, I think he remembered that his neck really hurt. And so he's like, okay, I don't need to push myself for wins anymore. I'm just going to kind of power down and just sleepwalk through my final 3 matches and avoid injury, especially day 15 against Mitake Yumi. Like,
Yeah.
he put in 0
I don't think
effort
he was
in that
trying
match.
too hard on that one.
Yeah. And so that's kind of my theory for his match against Teruno Fuji. He's like, I really don't care if I win this match. I'll give it a little bit of an effort. It is against Teruno Fuji. And then I'm going to grab his belt, because if I have his belt and I have some sort of grip on it, it's less likely he could just throw me off the dohyo as opposed to me trying to push him and he pushes me back.
Yeah.
That's funny. I need to do something surprising that he would never expect.
Yes.
Let's play a
He grabs
Yotsu
the belt.
sumo.
Yeah, but I do think it, like, if you have somebody's belt, you're probably less likely to go flying off the dohyo than if you're engaged in a push thrust battle. So maybe could have been just a strategy to
Could be.
avoid going off the dohyo.
Right before he just crushes him and lands on top
The
of him.
Ichinojo effect.
We have seen him pull out of a tournament as soon as he gets 8 wins, though. So, like, there's probably some element of, like, I'm not doing great, so I'm going to take it easy after 8.
I don't think he wanted to give Teruno Fuji the freebie with Teruno Fuji.
Would that have been
the-
his
would
freebie?
that
That would have
Okay.
been a freebie for Teruno Fuji. And then his next match was against Ozeki
that would have been
Shodai.
Miyogiryu, actually.
Oh,
Oh.
was it?
Yeah, so on day 12 was when he got his 8th and final win.
Still someone the Yusha.
Oh,
race,
yeah, he
so
lost
I
to
can see that.
Miyogiryu, then Teru, then...
Then Mitake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's actually a very good point I didn't think about, because the last few days of the basho is usually when you have Yusha race like stuff if you were up at the Ozeki rank.
Yeah. Did Shodai and Takakeisho face off this basho?
They did not.
No.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So, yeah, that was probably because they had to insert Miyogiryu up in there and took the slot. Because Miyogiryu beat both Takakeisho and Shodai in
back
this
to back.
tournament. Yep. So, Fleric, we talked about how Takakeisho was able to turn it on when it really mattered in order to maintain his rank. But other than that, he didn't really look good. Does this basho concern you at all about future Takakeisho, or do you think it was just more his neck was ailing him this time, give him a couple more months to recover, maybe he'll look better come November?
I know next to nothing about neck injuries.
We
so-
know next to nothing
Yeah.
about sumo, so...
That's
Yeah.
true.
Good point.
I
Also-
just want to say, like, I knew it was probably bad. I'm very hopeful that, like, he has a little breathing room. Like, he at least has 2 months and then maybe another 2 if he takes, like, more time off. Like, he can become Kataban again. But I just don't know. I guess I just kind of don't know. Like, I guess my feeling about this is it's pretty much what I expected. And I am, I guess optimistic that he's going to get a little bit better. But we'll kind of see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if 3 months or 4 months will be good enough to heal up all the way.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that he was able to kind of power up and get to that kind of Ozeki level Takakeisho for a little bit. So I don't know if he's just been hiding all of his previous... Because, I mean, he's been injured so much. I don't know if he's just been fighting through, and maybe this time is just too much to keep it up for 15 days. He did the bare minimum. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what level of Takakeisho we get in November, where he doesn't have the pressure of keeping his rank. Maybe he does take that off. To your point, just like, okay, my neck really isn't doing good. I can take this off to recover. Let's talk about another patron topic. Giuseppe Salico, he was wondering about Takakeisho. What will it take for him to become Yokozuna? What does he need to improve on, technique-wise, mentality-wise, etc.? So, Mac, why don't you kick us off? What do you need to see more from Takakeisho to make you believe he could take that leap up to the Yokozuna level?
Well, one of the things I know we like to see from Yokozuna is more of a well-rounded portfolio of Kimarite techniques.
Who more rounded could you ask for than Takakeisho?
I was
Literally
going to lead into
spherical.
that. I was
Yeah.
going to lead into that. But in Takakeisho's case, he has something that works well for him. With his low center of gravity, with his body type, he's a pusher thruster, and it just works for him. And he has enough balance and enough stability that it makes other people frustrated in that sense because they really can't get a good grip on him. Now, as in terms of his Mawashi, as soon as you get a good grip on him, pretty much game over at that point. But he has enough ring sense and enough, I would say, wiliness, especially with his flailing arm movements, as we have seen in many tournaments past. It just disarms people. So I love his defensive style. When he is on the defensive with that, he's just able to deflect a lot of arms. He needs to keep improving that, while also, as his opponents are attacking him, try and outmaneuver them as well. Because the sides of the Tawara, that's where he really brings it home, is when they overextend, overpush. He has this excellent lateral move. He just needs to keep refining that.
Yeah, I'm glad you said. I'm glad you did not say get a belt game.
No. That's
because that's the point I was going to make too. Is like I have to tie it back to the other sport that I know well, MMA, where there's also a striker versus grappler meta game kind of going on, right? And if you're a striker in MMA, you don't bother learning submissions if you're going to go up against a grappler guy. You learn how to keep him from having opportunities to get them.
It.
Yeah. So like for Takakeisho, he doesn't need to get a belt game. He doesn't need to be perfectly well-rounded and good at everything. He just needs to be able to keep the fight where he wants it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think honestly for him, it's really just health and a couple, a couple coins coming up the right way for him in a row. If he can get lucky with, Teruno Fuji not being quite so dominant for a couple basho in a row or something like that.
Don't be a Yokozuna. Teruno Fuji, stop being a Yokozuna.
I mean, I guess I'll just say that like that's his main competition. The thing stopping him from getting 2 consecutive Yusho that would get him the promotion is clearly right now Teruno Fuji, and maybe like the ghost of Hakuho who shows up once or twice more, whatever. But yeah, he clearly has the talent to win. He has the talent to beat Teruno Fuji on the right day. I honestly think if he stays healthy and just sticks at it for a little while, because he is still so young, he's got plenty of time. I think it's very possible. I don't know. To me, it feels almost like a 50-50 kind of thing that it would even happen. I think there's a good chance.
Well, it would be different if we haven't seen those flashes from him before, but we have. Mm-hmm. We've seen that actual talent, that ring sense, that ability to outmaneuver his opponents. We've seen it in tournaments past. It's just, I think this time, like you were saying before, he's just dealing with that injury. So at this point, he's still recovering a little bit, and he's still feeling out how Teruno Fuji does a lot of his matches. So I think, as we've talked about on the show, that there's going to be a really awesome rivalry if Teruno Fuji's knees continue to hold.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like he's beaten Teruno Fuji in a playoff and everything. It's just, at no point, as long as he can maintain his Ozeki rank here, he is never further than like 4 months away from potentially making it happen.
Right.
It could be any 2 basho, it feels like.
Yeah. I think we asked John Gunning about Takakeisho and what kind of he needs to do, and he just said, it's tough for a pusher thruster. Like, they're always just going to be a lot more inconsistent than somebody that has a belt game.
A slim margin of error.
Yeah, It's a very slim margin of error. Like you see in Daisho, he's a pusher thruster. He was very high at the Hatsubasho, won the Yusho, and then he followed that up with a couple of he might have had one more winning record after that, but then he had 2 losing records in the following bashos. It's very up and down for the pusher thrusters. Takakeisho has obviously shown he is the premier pusher thruster.
More up than down.
Yeah, a lot more up than down. And I think I agree with Jake. With him being 25 years old, it's just a matter of time before he's supremely up for 2 basho in a row to get that Yokozuna promotion.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's more likely than not at this point.
Yeah, especially in the world where Terunofuji, like, we keep saying his knee might take him out anytime, but he's towards the end of his career right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
I mean, he's 29, so he could potentially have like 5
He is
more years in
29.
him or
his,
so. But
his
like,
knees
but
are
it's-
70.
but yeah, you have to assume that he's got enough miles on that body that he's older than he is.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I actually
makes sense.
forgot he was 29. But so like a little bit, maybe this is a little bit less, but like there is probably an era where Terunofuji retires, and there's Takakeisho might have a chance to step right up,
Yeah.
be the best person there.
I could like if both Hakuho and Terunofuji retired right now, is there somebody better than Takakeisho?
I don't think so. Well, in his current health state, maybe not.
In his current
yeah, I was
health
gonna say
state,
current
maybe.
health,
yeah,
yeah.
but-
asterisk, but yeah.
Overall, no.
No.
Takakeisho would be the best guy, but he's not going to be like Terunofuji, who is the preemptive favorite every single basho. I don't think.
Yeah. The margin.
He will be the favorite every tournament, but you don't expect him to win
Yeah,
Right.
4
Like
out
a-
of 7 like Terunofuji.
like a 30% favorite or something, whereas Terunofuji coming in, it felt like at least
Thank you, Yokozuna Mac.
That left arm is getting a pounding.
I know.
Turn your body side face.
But yeah, like
No, Yokozuna Mac.
But yeah, like you said, John Gunning's point there, the margin is so slim.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like if somebody gets a hold of your belt, it's you're not likely going to go back. You just got to keep the fight where you want it, and that's
Yeah.
just tough to do consistently.
Yeah. Takakeisho to me is like someone who just embodies the whole do your brand of sumo that we just kind of laugh about the entire time. But he's just so specialized. He just knows this is what I do good. This is what I do good.
Yes.
He just plays to his strengths, and it's just so impressive to see. And he's gone so far. So as long as he kind of keeps doing what he's doing, and I like your point on just kind of focus on health. Just make sure he stays healthy. Keeping Ozeki is actually a very good point about getting Yokozuna. It's very hard to get that. So if he can kind of hold on to that too,
Yeah.
I think those are the two things I'll get him.
Like for
To the ranking.
comparison here, like let's say that he goes 8-7. He could have 4 months before he wrestles again if he wants to.
Yeah.
He could take the next basho off and still come back and be like, okay, I need 2 Yusho and then I'll be there. You know.
Yeah.
But if he were to go 7-8 this tournament, then he would not be able to take next basho off at all. He'd have to have a killer 10-win performance to get Ozeki back. Failing that, then he's another half a year run away from getting Ozeki back before he can even think about Yokozuna.
Yeah.
So yeah, huge that he was able to get that 8th win this time, I think.
Yep. Let's talk about the other Ozeki, Shodai, who also got to 8 wins and no more this basho. Did a little bit of research on Shodai just to get some unnecessary but somewhat interesting slander on Shodai.
What?
So
Is it slander if it's true though?
fair.
Shade maybe?
Yeah, a little bit of shade on Shodai that's unwarranted. As Jake points out, he is top 4 Rikishi in the world.
Word is he hates both cats and dogs.
What?
My goodness.
Oh, monster.
Wait, that might be slander.
There you go. That's slander.
That's slander, sir.
But what's the shade?
So what I did is we're talking about just how unimpressive the first year of Shodai has been. And so what I did is I went to Sumo DB, did a query of the Ozeki's first year from their debut, how they performed as an Ozeki, how many wins they got. So this wouldn't include people like Tochinoshin or Takakeisho who were demoted within their first year. It's just somebody who like Terunofuji this time, who was Ozeki for
Who
2
spent
basho,
2 basho.
and went up to Yokozuna. This is just Rikishi who debuted at Ozeki and had 6 straight tournaments as Ozeki. How many wins did they get overall? And so Shodai, he is in the bottom. There's 58 of these Rikishi in the modern era. Once again, 15 days per tournament, 6 bashos per year. Shodai is in the bottom 10 of those Rikishi. Actually, number 48 on the list out of 58.
So exactly 10th worst.
So exactly 10th worst with 46 wins over 6 tournaments. In that bottom 10, there is only one Rikishi that has become Yokozuna. Any guesses on who that would be?
It was Hakuho.
It was not Hakuho.
Kakuyu.
Nope.
Haramafuji?
Teru no Fuji.
Oh.
Teru no Fuji actually finished with one less win in his first year as an Ozeki than Shodai just did.
Wow. That's funny. Yeah, because his, I want to go back and take a look, because his struggles didn't really come until about 2 years after his Ozeki promotion. When he won his first Yusho, that's when he got promoted to Ozeki the first time, back in 2015. And yeah, he didn't do great there, but it wasn't until 2 years later where he was complete garbage, taped together mess and getting demoted and stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, like I said, there's only one Yokozuna in that bottom 10. In the top 10 perform like most wins in their first year as a Ozeki, there are 8 Yokozuna.
8?
So clearly your first year as an Ozeki, how you do there does indicate if you are able to take that next step up.
So you're saying being better at sumo indicates that you are more
goddamn
likely
right I
to
am.
continue being better at sumo.
I'm just saying that my research wasn't fully unfounded and random.
Gotcha.
This does prove that Shodai is a below average Ozeki, which is all I wanted to do.
Of the career, Ozekis have stuck around for a year.
Career.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So some other interesting notes that I found, Takayasu also had fewer wins than Shodai. I think he only had like 42. He had some injury issues.
Not a great tournament for me and my boy.
But Takayasu also had 1 or 2 like 12 and 3 Jun Yushos as an Ozeki.
I think he got, didn't he get like 2 consecutive Jun Yushos or something?
I think so, yeah.
That sounds about right.
I vaguely remember being very gung-ho about a very liberal Yokozuna promotion at one point, making that joke, but I don't remember for sure.
He has 2 junior shows. Might as well promote them right away.
Yeah.
That's equivalent to winning.
Yes.
Yeah. Second place is basically first. Yes, in early 2018, he got 2 consecutive 12 and 3 junior shows.
Okay. And so we have seen 4 other Yokozuna as we've watched sumo. Hakuho, Haramafuji, Kakuryu, Kisei no Sato. How do you guys think they rank in their first year as an Ozeki as far as total wins?
I'm guessing Hakuho did well.
Okay.
That's hot take.
Yeah, hot, yeah.
Eh.
Kisei no Sato, his first year of like 12 at Ozeki. I don't know about that one. I was back in the 90s, so who knows?
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know about that.
No, he's not that old.
No, I feel like Kisei did pretty well. I feel like Haramafuji's the one who ramped up to it, and maybe
That's the one that
I know
I'm thinking.
Kakuryu definitely was the one who ramped up to it. So are we just Yokozuna who during their Ozeki phase?
During their first year as an Ozeki, how they did. I'll just tell you.
Okay,
Thank you.
So Kakuryu had the least amount of wins in his first year as an Ozeki,
That's what I felt.
followed by Hakuho.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, that surprised
it's,
me.
Ashoryu time. That's why.
True.
Oh.
And then Haramafuji was next, and Kisei no Sato actually had the best first year as far as total wins as an Ozeki. I think Jake mentioned that Hakuho had a Yusho in there,
Right.
but overall, Kisei no Sato was able to get more wins in that first year as an Ozeki. Hakuho probably got hurt.
I wanted to go to the Yokozuna beach resort.
Yeah. Another Ozeki that we have seen make his rise, Asanoyama, since we've been watching. He ranked 40th overall in total wins in his first year as an Ozeki. So
That's weird, because I remember he was like most wins in a year one of the last couple of years,
but it's
right?
kind of been down for us
Yeah.
as not having like an overly dominant guy. But
Fair enough.
the reason that makes everything worth bringing up all of these stats, and the reason I put this is interesting shade on Shodai.
Interesting shade.
Can you guess the Ozeki that he is tied with for the same number of wins over his first 6 basho as an Ozeki?
Is it Goedo?
It is goddamn Goedo.
How did we know that one?
Proving once and for all that Shodai is the next Goedo. And I now officially hate him more than anything.
The hate has fully migrated.
I pocket. Ow!
I got a body shot.
It's okay. I gave him a high five after he's healed.
Thank you, Yokozuna Mac.
All right, let's talk about the lower Sanyaku ranks.
So, yeah, who's the next guy that we're going to just dump on for 10 minutes?
It's going to be Takayasu, but we'll get
damn
there.
it.
So, just wanted to point out, like, we were kind of really dumping on the Junior Sanyaku ranks in the midway episode, but they did turn it around. Meisei and Ichinojo got off to poor starts. They were both able to rally.
I was okay with that, though.
Yeah.
I was okay with that.
Part of why I'm not getting shot with darts right
Yeah,
now.
Also true.
They were both able to get to 8 and 7 wins, and Meisei, like we mentioned, he even got a win over Yokozuna Terunofuji. And after the start that made Flarik believe in the Mitakayumi hype again, thinking Mitakayumi might possibly contend for a June Yusho, he ended up losing 4 of his last 7 matches, finishing with the most Mitakayumi of a 9-6 record at Sekiwake.
That sounds about right.
And then
did we expect any more of him?
I
Honestly?
didn't, but Flarik did, and that's just.
I'm
piss
guessing
poor on
I'm
Flarik's
guessing I
part.
said something on the midway where
Yeah.
I believed in him. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Looking back, like,
I should have known.
Yep.
I did my best to pick a fight online with Sumo Follower yesterday about Mitakayumi being disappointing. But Mitakayumi, as long as we're talking about him, let me bring up something that I looked up.
more shade, you say?
No. Mitakayumi is in the top half of 1% as far as active wrestlers and Yusho wins. That is not disappointing. That is not like career disappointing. You can argue that an individual basho is like less than it could have been.
That's exactly
Okay.
what I was
Yep.
going to say.
Which, yes, that's fair. But like what the phrasing that Sumo Follower put on Twitter was Mitakayumi never fails to disappoint. And that I had an issue
Okay.
with.
Oh.
And I am prepared to 1v1 Sumo Follower IRL.
You poor man.
Jake is just trying to delay.
I need somebody that I kind of vaguely like to do well and not be crapped on all the time.
So, speaking of Takayasu,
Oh, no.
All right. Now I'm ready for this. We can
This-
go on to Takayasu.
this was just not his basho. He just should have stayed home. I mean, he won 4 matches, and he was lucky to get those 4 because he won 2 by Fusen.
Yeah.
He got the win.
He got 2 easy free
When
wins.
Hoshoryu had to take his 3-day break for his
That's
tonsillitis.
I see that Jake has got his Takayasu blanket to hold for safety.
He needs
I need some comfort.
He
Yeah.
needs his comfort.
I know this segment isn't going to be short.
Yeah. And he also got a freebie win over Kota Nawaka after Kota Nawaka injured his knee. At no point in his first 11 days that he competed in did Takayasu really look healthy or ready to go in any way, shape, or form.
No.
His specialty had always been the long stamina battles. You knew if it became like a delayed match, it was Takayasu's battle. Not this tournament. And then the coup de grace, just the cherry on top of the sundae, just getting tossed out of the dohyo by Terunofuji and having to pull out of the basho with literally a bruised ass.
It's the most
The phrasing of
the
that.
specific injury that it was just makes
It was a
even worse.
contusion to the gluteus maximus, otherwise known as a bruised ass.
Or the tush.
AKA
the tuchus.
bruised ass.
Jake, defend your boy.
I can't, I'm too sad to be clever right now. I don't know, man. I feel like I picked Takayasu to be like my favorite guy pretty early on in our sumo watching, and I feel like that was just the most tragic pick I could have made. the taunting almost success of
I know, because he came off a couple bashos where he was looking pretty good. That's
we
why.
started watching when he
why I
was
picked
like
him.
a very regularly dominant junior Sanyaku guy. And he was kicking so much ass. And then he was the first guy, I think, while we were watching to get promoted to Ozeki.
I think so, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he's had like an all-time great career by every measure except for Yusho's and like being a Yokozuna. I'm ugh.
This is why you need to set your expectations lower and go with Chiyomaru. Chiyomaru is
You got it. Yeah, if I had just used memes to pick my favorite
exactly.
guy, I would have
Go
been so
with
much
the
happier.
memes.
Yeah,
It's
Chiyomaru
so
has-
much more fun.
He has so many Juryo Yushos, probably.
Actually, he's got a few.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Yeah.
But
you
no,
have to pick
Ta-
someone who goes between Juryo and Makuuchi to get those.
He has one Juryo Yusho.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he had one more, but
You
Which
can
is
never
more
really
than,
be-
more than Takayasu.
Oh man.
Yeah, you can never really
more than
be
Kageyaki at least.
disappointed with a favorite like Chiyomaru. You can only be pleasantly surprised.
And that's why. That's why.
Yeah, and I mean we don't have to turn this into a full retrospective of what we all assume is kind of towards the end of Takayasu's career at this
Don't say
point.
that.
But
We're
like,
not saying that.
yeah, the injuries.
He has another couple years of like Kodo Shogaku and Tochinoshin end of their
Oh,
careers.
God.
Not Tochinoshin.
Yeah.
Why did you have to bring that up?
Yeah. No,
Did you know at towards the end of the tournament, like on day 13, Tochinoshin had the longest active win streak of 6 straight wins?
Yeah.
What the hell?
He was
rallied.
doing well.
Yeah, he
He's
was
weird.
rallying.
That's what he's been doing the past couple of tournaments. He starts off poorly, and everybody on the internet's like, "Oh, Tochinoshin's going to retire," and then he rallies to get almost a winning record.
The
Those
slow
bastards.
fall.
Final day, you pit him against another
Yeah.
7-7. Why?
Yeah, he gets the first couple lose in the beginning, so then like the matchmakers say, "Oh, he's doing terrible. Let's get these easy matchups."
He's a
easy
former
matchups."
Ozeki. We got it. We can't
Yeah.
be that hard on him.
Yeah. He has a farm to pay for in Georgia.
His baby. His baby.
Oh man. So yeah, Takayasu didn't do great this tournament,
Yeah.
but
No.
but he's still my boy.
There you go. All right. The upper Maegashira, we kind of talked about them, how we really didn't think those guys were going to be absolutely shit canned down the Bansuke like we see with like a Koto Ueko or somebody in that ilk. And for the most part, I think that is going to hold. I would like to officially propose a nickname for kind of a group of these guys that are young up-and-comers. And this was proposed by one of our patrons, Beth. She sent us an email about these 4 guys, about Hoshoryu, Kitabayama, Wakataka Kage, and Koto no Waka. She thinks we should group them together and call them the Young Princes. Because they're all...
Why?
well, Hoshoryu is the nephew
Actually
of Asa
royalty.
Shoryu. Yep.
Yeah, he's the heir
Yeah.
to the throne of.
Okay,
my-
that's one. I was about to say that's one.
Koto no Waka is the grandson of a former Yokozuna. Wakataka Kage is either the son or grandson of a former Sekiwake. And Kitabayama is also young.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
The majority, I would say, have some.
3 out of 4 ain't bad,
Yeah,
Mac.
3 out of 4 ain't bad. All right.
He's kind of like the rapscallion like friend of all the princes who just
Yeah.
goes along for all
Everyone
the fun.
just assumes he's also royalty because he
Yeah, yeah.
hangs
It's
out
like
with
the
them.
3 Musketeers and the 4th guy that's with them.
yeah.
and the main character. Yeah.
So I propose we make that official on the podcast. At least for me, I'm going to. I don't care if you guys call them the Young Princes or not. But I'm going to, because Beth called me a Bansuke wizard. So
Oh, I see.
The real reason comes
Yep,
out.
there you go.
Beth is my favorite patron. What can I say?
I think that's a pretty cool name. I like that.
That is a
Young
trait we share,
princes.
Ryan, that we are insanely vulnerable to even the slightest amount of flattery.
Yeah, exactly. My ego is the most important thing about me.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So let's just kind of see how they did. Hoshoryu, he was 5-7 in matches that he fought. Obviously, was defeated by tonsillitis for 3 straight days. But most importantly, he had the absolutely amazing Ippanzoi counter against Wakataka Kage. Then we have Kitabayama. He went 9-6. He's the new Stamina King. He took that title from Takayasu, bruising his ego as well as his ass. And now he is also the shifty Tachi-Ai King, as he had like 2 straight days were just kind of like the
hit and
Haruma
slip,
Fuji
yeah.
non-Henka. Yeah. I think he got Hoshoryu and...
It was Hoshoryu, and he like basically had him by the back of the Mawashi, and like if you paused it at a certain point, it's like he was just carrying him.
Yeah. Come on.
You also had Wakataka Kage. He was 9-6 and won his final 5 matches. And then you had Koto no Waka of this group. He was 3-7. We thought he would probably be the one to struggle the most, but he did injure his knee. Somebody mentioned something about a meniscus, and so that could be a potentially long-term injury for Koto no Waka, depending on how badly that is injured. So hopefully it's not too bad there.
Even though his record was 5-7, Hoshoryu's Ippanzoi,
Oh,
absolutely gorgeous.
So Jake, we were most impressed by Kitabayama on the midway. Are you still thinking, at least for this basho, was Kitabayama the most impressive? Did Hoshoryu do enough with his 5 wins?
Oh yeah, well he did enough with that one.
Yeah.
No, I think I like that they all are doing well enough to like justify some of the hype here. I think we were like vaguely pretty. We had the right idea when we were trying to predict this because nobody did like super terrible.
Takanosho,
Even-
the other Maegashira one, ended up 7-8.
Yeah, even
not bad.
Koto no
Yeah,
Waka,
exactly.
who pulled out, he was 3-6 is not like complete garbage. in
And
the
that
ring.
was probably around the time he had already fought most of the Sanyaku people he was going to fight. So he
Yeah,
could
yeah.
have had a second week
At
turnaround
that
like
rank.
Wakataka Kage did.
Right.
Wakataka Kage got absolutely destroyed by most everybody in the Sanyaku ranks, and
Yep.
then he wiped the floor with everybody ranked below him.
These upper Maegashira great guys. They are very front heavy on their on the schedule difficulty.
Yeah.
One thing I was very impressed with these, like the record doesn't always exactly show how the matches go. Like Hoshori had some very close ones. Wakataka Kage is actually someone who super impressed me this basho because he had a lot of matches that were just very hard fought and like just really well. So I agree that like these maybe 4 princes are just some of these the upper joy is actually starting to get fairly solid. And they're actually putting up some really good fights against the upper Sanyaku.
Yeah, the next basho, we're going to have some people like Endo, Onosho, Okino-umi, Miyogiryu kind of creep into those spots, as Hoshoryu is going to have to fall down the Bansuke a little bit. We're going to have Kitabayama probably making his Komusubi debut. So we're going to have, it's not going to be quite the burst of young freshness at the top of the Maegashira ranks. Next time, we are going to have some of those older guys come up, get knocked straight back down the Bansuke, and then back in Hatsu,
come back.
we'll probably have like the hot freshness back at the top again.
Yeah. Well, they definitely. I was impressed with their matches. They're not quite there yet to kind of just hang around in the joy, but they're definitely getting there.
Yep. And then there's just a couple of.
Got him.
Oh, that one seemed to particularly hurt.
I got it.
Thank you, Yokozuna Mac. How many more darts do you have?
Oh, plenty.
Oh no.
I mean, if I keep handing them back, an unlimited supply.
That was a good distraction because I had one other quick point that I wanted to make on this topic. I really like the what seems to be kind of like an emerging meta of cruiserweight kind of guys that I've commented on them before, but like Hoshoryu, Kitabayama, Wakataka Kage for sure. Ura, Tobizaru, even like Koto and Meisei are kind of like on the lower end of normal size. And
do you mean like roundness, or do you mean like height?
I just mean overall size. Like we don't see guys like Chiyotairyu and Kaisei being like the young guys that are coming up seem to be a smaller generation. Other than like Koto no Waka is certainly plenty big.
Oh yeah.
But for the most part, a lot of these new guys are kind of on the smaller side, and I think that we always look forward to their matches as being more exciting. And I kind of hope that continues because I love watching these like not tiny guys like Enho, but just kind of smaller, still got lots of agility and stuff. And it seems to be an actually successful kind of size strategy so far. So I think that's kind of cool.
All right, let's just go on and get a couple more quick hits of things that we haven't talked about yet. I want to talk about that Onosho versus Meisei match where Onosho was trying to stay in the Yusho race, and Meisei just did that man dirty. I don't know if Onosho did himself dirty.
He usually does.
You talk about the Hitaki Komi?
Yeah. It was just less than 1 second, immediate slap down by Meisei to Onosho. Is that considered a henka? I mean, Meisei don't care about the Yusho race at this point. Meisei is like, I want to be Sekiwake again. I'm going to do whatever. Yeah. And this is Onosho, so I know what to do. But is that a henka there, you think?
If they can do that to you on the Tachiai, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Onosho is the new Koto Shogaku there.
Yeah. Just to paint more of a picture for people, Onosho just went head straight down, looking like directly down at the dohyo. Meisei, knowing who Onosho is, just kind of like stood up and slapped him down immediately. Like, it took me 10 times longer to describe that match than the actual match itself. Yeah, but you could tell Onosho was very upset after that match because 11 wins for Onosho would have been the most wins he's gotten in the top division, and also it would have kept him alive for the Yusho going into day 15. Obviously, wouldn't have mattered. Teruno Fuji won the match that would have put it out of reach for Onosho, but he still could have gotten a Jun Yusho or a special prize at that point.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to point out is Yutakayama did get his 8th win on day 15, so this is just going to continue the trend of Yutakayama's inevitable, unimpeded climb back up to the top of the joy with just straight Kachikojis until he hits like Maegashira 1 or 2, and then it's going to be an inevitable, unimpeded drop back down to Juryo with just a string of straight Makekoshis. So watch out for it
when you're like that right about stupid stuff like that.
Let's give it a few more basho to see how far we pushes it. But my God, if it happens again, Yutakayama's like the most predictable guy on the Bansuke.
And big ups to him. I think we might have mentioned it on the midway because it happened pretty early in the tournament. But he, I think it was against Ichiyamamoto because he was injured. Yeah. So like the match where Ichiyamamoto appeared to get hurt. Yutakiyama actually like left the dojo to try and help him because it's sumo. Of course, he didn't accept the help, which whatever. But I guess Yutakiyama might be a sleeper pick for nicest dude. Up there with like guys like Kaisei,
Kakuho,
yeah.
Haruma
like
Fuji.
Actually being a decent guy when you
In the dojo.
Hang on.
in the dojo.
In the dojo. When sober inside of a dojo, Haruma Fuji was a great guy.
Yeah, I there's no way we'll find that match again. Hopefully a listener knows which match I'm talking about. But do you remember the time that he like flipped somebody like really violently, but then like also cradled their head so they didn't land on the dojo real hard?
Yeah. That was exactly what I was thinking of when I brought him up. Is there anybody else that anybody wants to point out that we haven't gotten to about this basho? People like Hide no Umi. Do we want to say his name and bring him up for this episode?
Nah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Tobizaro, always must-watch TV.
Yep. I think he got 7 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
There were two that I wanted to bring up. One was Chiyomaru, 8 and 7. Yay, happy with that one.
Probably his first
There you
winning
go.
record in the top division for a little bit.
For a little while, yeah. But the one that I really wanted to highlight was Koto Eiko. I love how scrappy this guy is.
2 tournaments ago.
Oh, 2 tournaments ago was his last
It was
winning
not. It
record?
has not been very long.
Oh, really?
I didn't think it was.
Yeah, he got an 8 and 7 from Maegashira 16 in May.
Okay.
I didn't realize he's been in the top division for 3 straight
He
tournaments.
just hasn't.
Yeah, there you go.
He just hasn't slid all the way down
Yeah.
just yet. It's been a slow decline.
It'll just be another basho or two.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
whatever. But I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, that's fine. But Koto Eiko, I love how scrappy he is, and for his size and the amount of intensity that he brings to a lot of his tachis and a lot of his matches, he usually gets the short end of the stick. And on this case, he was 2 and 6 going into day 8. He won 5 straight, lost to Tokushoryu on day 14, and then beat Aoyama on day 15, a guy that outclasses him in both size and weight, to seal his Kachikoshi. Well done.
I did not realize he was 2 and 6 at one point.
I didn't realize
2 and 6.
Aoyama was bigger than Koto Eiko.
Right?
I wouldn't have guessed.
Fascinating. But no, I always enjoy Koto Eiko's style of sumo, and because he's one of the littler guys, he has to find other creative ways to win. And again, I just find him really entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I think Jake actually mentioned Koto Eiko and being like one of his like under the radar.
I'd put him in the.
favorites.
Yeah, I mean he's exciting. He's in that like cruiserweight group
Yeah.
that I mentioned. Yeah, that those guys are all kind of sneakily becoming my favorites.
Yeah. Anybody for you that we haven't talked about already, Flerick?
Nope.
Probably haven't even heard of the people we haven't brought up.
Where am I?
I guess I did have
What's
one
this
more.
about?
I saw a comment. I think it was on Reddit, maybe Twitter. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was from, but they mentioned Aoyama, and the physique is always like great target for funny comments and stuff. Somebody said those wings were really flapping today,
Jeez.
and that imagery has stuck with me since.
Aoyama 7 and 8 record will be dropping down the Bansuke a little bit.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about our Yusho winners in the lower divisions. Juryo Abi picked up his second career Yusho. He went 13 and 2. So after being suspended for 3 basho after breaking COVID regulations beginning of Aki last year, he started back up in Makushita 56, won 3 out of 4 lower division Yushos, and he will be back in the top division for the November basho. So all of you Abi fans, he will be back in the lower Maegashira ranks for the next tournament. So I think Abi can do some damage down there. So we'll see how he does.
And Ryuden, I believe, will be coming back next time. I think this would have been his 3rd out.
I think so.
At least on Sumo DB,
Yes.
May is when it looks like it's
Because
started being.
him and Asanoyama were like suspended at the same
Same
time.
time.
But Ryuden started that basho Kyujo, and I think they counted that first basho he was absent as his first suspended basho. Whereas, so this was the second suspended tournament for Asanoyama. This was the third for Ryuden.
Gotcha. So he'll be back at low Makushita.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody's really going to be tracking all too much his rise back to the top division. Will he get there? Yeah. Will anybody care?
Yeah.
Debatable.
Probably
We'll see.
not a
We'll
lot.
see.
Yeah. Makushita Hukai is the winner there. This is his first career Makushita Yusho. He began his career as a Sandanme Tsukedashi in Haru of 2020.
That was fun.
Oh, you thought about getting him.
Oh, I did.
As
got
Mac
him- you got him
pointed the gun at
conditioned.
Flerick.
I'm not going to lean back at all for the rest of the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Only lean forward.
Please do.
It seems like every time Flerick tries to get comfortable, Mac's like, nah.
That's he just figured it out. Like, aha, that's when I do it.
You must be
Yes,
tense at all times, Fleric.
Please.
That's happening. Yeah.
Relax.
No.
But yeah, Fukai, he started his career as a Sandanme Tsukedashi in Haru of 2020, and he's been up and down to Makushita for the past year, so he'll be in the upper ranks of Makushita for the November tournament. In Sandanme, Fuji Seiyun. This is his first career Sandanme Yusho, but it is not the first time we have heard his name. This was just his third career basho, and it is his second lower division Yusho. The other basho that he didn't win the lower division Yusho was when he lost the Jonidan Yusho in a playoff. So he is 21-0 in his regularly
Officially.
scheduled matches.
Yeah. Wow.
So I don't know if we count him in the 21-0 club, which has grown immensely over the past few years with Enho, Oshoryu, Hokuseiho, and now I guess borderline Fuji Seiyun. But he's going to be ranked fairly highly in Makushita. He might be Makushita 15, where if he takes the Yusho there, he's up in Juryo the next basho. But more likely is he's going to get himself a nice reality check.
Yeah.
But he is older than some of these other guys were when they did it. Like Hokusei was like 19 when he started 21-0. Fuji Seiyun's 23. So he's a guy that went to university and just started at the bottom.
He just didn't get the boost up to
Makushita. So it might not be as big of a reality check for him, but probably still going to be a tough basho for him at the top of Makushita. At Jonidan, we have Hitoshi. This was his first career Yusho, his second career basho. He is 24 years old. And in Jonokuchi, we had Seito no Umi. This is his first career Yusho, his ninth basho overall. He's 17 years old. He made it up to Jonidan after his first 3 or 4 tournaments, but then he was absent from the prior 3 basho to this one, and he only competed once in the last basho to keep from falling off the Bansuke completely. And apparently Hanekaze got a Kachikoshi at 51 years old.
Hey.
All right.
All right, so we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, Jake will tell you where the GSB belt ended up, and we will go through all the results of our prediction series, bold predictions, more patron compliments, and give out some GSB awards. If you enjoy the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search for Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Support the show on Patreon and check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Also, watch us on YouTube. It seems like Fleric... I'll bring it up on the podcast. No.
I'll air this publicly.
Why not? Zen.
All right, that was very relaxing. Time to tense up again.
Yep, I was about to say. I allow a moment of respite.
Makes it that much sweeter, doesn't it?
It does. So I'm like, oh, just gather your energy.
Let's go. Every muscle. That might be fun to keep. Let's see how it plays out in editing. Anyways, let's take a look at the GSB belt. In the second tournament of our second iteration of the GSB belt, we are rocketing up the rankings. Mm-hmm. So it started on a previous lower division Yusho winner, Osanai, and he lost, let's see, so there was, he went 5-0 and then lost to Narutaki, who immediately lost to Fuji Seiyun, who we just mentioned is the Sandanme Yusho winner.
All right.
So because he won that Sandanme Yusho, Fuji Seiyun is likely to be up somewhere in like the middle of Makushita next tournament, which is 80% of the way up the rankings already.
Jeez.
And I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's so cool. And then I looked at the last one, and it was actually kind of similar.
Yeah. No. Never mind.
It just, when you, in these lower divisions, the belt just moves real quick. Last time at this precise equivalent moment, the previous belt was about 60% of the way up the rankings. So, not that crazy. But yeah, Fuji Seiyun, looking pretty good. So there's 2 reasons that I'm going to be watching him, because he's got that 21-0 club, and the GS. asterisk.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
all right.
And,
Asterisk's fine.
and the GSB belt, which is far more prestigious.
Yeah, of course, obviously. I mean, look at what winners of the GSB belt have gone on to do. I'm going to move on.
Anyways.
Was it worth it? Was it going to be worth it?
Just bail.
Yeah,
Bail.
we're done. All right, so let's talk about the prediction series where
Yes.
obviously
All right, my mosquito net hat I always wear, by the way, did its work there because that got me right in the throat. And so the net definitely took off a little bit of that. I am very happy.
That's good.
Took a little steam off it.
Yes. Thank you, Yokozuna Mac. I'm sorry I didn't say it.
That's about to say. That's what you get.
Here you go. Here's a reload.
Thank you.
it feels like if we have a physical punishment of some kind, it is always Fleric who gets it because this is the
Second
second
to eat the hot sauce, too.
Yeah, this is the second time we've done the Nerf gun punishment where I won the last time and you all tied with the same score.
true.
And so you all got shot by me. So Fleric was involved in that. He had to eat all the hot stuff where I legitimately made myself feel bad for giving him so much wasabi and I thought I killed
straight up
Fleric.
Yeah.
straight up a teaspoon of it at a time. Yeah, it was disgusting.
And now Mac has basically a BB gun and is just shooting Fleric in the neck.
It's Nerf or nothing.
I'm having terrible luck
Nerf,
with
that'll
these
be
ones.
$50.
Not quite.
But yeah, so it was very close to
not
see
gonna work.
who was going to receive Mac's punishment. It was inevitable Mac was going to win this from the moment we drafted. He had Teruno Fuji and a Hakuho-less basho.
He even
That's
gave
about
himself a handicap by picking, was it Ichinojo?
Ichinojo. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted
Was
to
it
have
show?
fun with that one.
Mac would have tied for the win with just Teruno Fuji. Teruno Fuji got him 21 points in our prediction series, which is what Jake had as the runner-up in total. But then I had 20 and Fleric had 19, so it was close all the way. And Fleric, I feel like you got hosed a little bit with the scheduling on day 15
Yeah. Oh,
did I?
because your champ went up against my chump, which meant no matter
I
what
do remember
in
that.
that match, if your champ won, we both got a point. If your champ lost, we both didn't get a point. The margin between us would stay the same no matter what. So you had two matches taken away from you that could have decided the last place between you and me. So I was very happy with that result.
You're right. I am outraged.
Now that you bring this to my attention.
Yeah. We should form a formal complaint as YDC West.
I think what we just have...
You point that gun. Stop pointing that gun at me. Yokozuna Mac.
Not until we awkwardly say bye at the end of this podcast will he no longer be able to shoot you.
Also true.
Chris, this situation I got myself into.
I'm sorry, Fleric.
I was going to say something mildly interesting, but I completely forgot it the second Fleric flinched like a little wussy girl.
Let's just move on.
All right.
Yeah, I want to have a quick brag because I did have the best chump.
You did.
I picked Teritsuyoshi, who didn't have. He had 10 losses. Ryan actually had 11 losses combined between the two guys that he was working on. But I got the bonus points because my chump lost to two of your chumps.
Yep.
So that put me over.
Yeah, so I had Koto Nowaka initially. He got hurt. I replaced him with Ichi Yamamoto. Fleric had Takayasu as his champ initially. He got hurt, replaced him as Ura, which actually turned into a good pick because Ura won 3 straight to end it
I was
for
very conflicted about that. But yeah, that worked out well.
Got to be tough to choose from a pool of champs that are all like 4 and 7 or worse.
I have been there. It
and you
does
chose
suck.
the right one.
Yeah.
All right, let us talk about... Well, Mac, this is normally where we have like our punished person do their punishment, sing a song, recite their sumo erotica. This one's been more kind of throughout the entire episode sort of thing. But if you just want to wail on Fleric for a couple of seconds...
No, I'm good.
Break out the full auto Nerf
Yeah.
gun that you brought as well.
Oh no, that one I left at home.
Okay.
All right.
You're so considerate, Yokozuna Mac, by
You know,
not
I try
choosing to not shoot
sometimes.
me a bunch of times for the rest of the whole episode.
Oh, I didn't
Slightly
say
fewer
that.
and more tense.
What? You're not? You could not shoot me for the
I
rest of the episode.
could. I could. You're right.
Yeah.
But that would be against the spirit of the whole thing.
Indeed.
I was getting on my throat, Yokozuna Mac.
You have a protective barrier.
Kind of.
You should aim at
And
his eyes.
such an appealing
Oh, the
neck.
eyes?
Yeah, he's double protected. He's got the
I'm not going
netting
for the
and
glasses.
glasses.
Glasses cost money.
Yeah, let's move on.
All right,
Let's get to the end.
let's talk about bold predictions where a T-shirt
Thank you, Yoko's in the Mac.
will be awarded, but not to this first group of people. These are some of our worst predictions that we received prior to the tournament.
As is tradition,
Yep.
we have to bring up the dumbest ones because
course.
that's half the fun.
Tim Sumo, he predicted a Takakeisho Yusho, Chiyomaru going 10-5, Takanosho Kinboshi and special prize, and also Mitoryu getting promoted. Absolutely none of those things happened. Hilariously so in some cases, like Mitoryu, who had 2 wins, got injured and pulled out. So definitely no promotion for him. Mig.
To be fair, Takanosho did give Teruno Fuji one of his tougher fights.
He did.
Yeah.
But he could.
But that is the only thing that's correct in that entire prediction.
He
so, sorry, Tim.
wasn't wearing elbow pads that Teruno Fuji could mistakenly grab to try to get leverage on his opponent like Daisho did. And so that is where Takanosho went wrong and why he didn't get the Komboshi, but Daisho did. Mig, he predicted that we would have a first-time Yusho winner, that Takakeisho would be the runner-up, Teruno Fuji would finish 8-7, and Ichi Yamamoto would finish 11-4, while Ichi Yamamoto finished 4-11.
I was holding on to that Nerf gun dart, and that Nerf gun dart
Not allowed.
For
There-
a reason.
for reasons. I am very sad that you just yanked those from my hand and gave them to Yokozuna the Mac.
I could only assume you were
Mac.
going to give them back to him in time, but I just wanted to make sure Mac had proper ammo to do what he needed to do.
Well, I still had 2 spare.
And our final worst prediction is to ABV. He said that Hoshoryu would get a Kinboshi against Teruno Fuji by Hanka, a double-digit Kachikoshi for Ura. Tochinoshi would go Intai after a very sad 3-12, and a Takayasu Yusho after a playoff against Shodai. That would be weird.
Sure would, because those were all way off.
Yeah. I do want to give a special shout out to all the people who every single bold predictions threads like Takayasu Yusho. There's like 5 or 6 of them every single time.
They're all my alt accounts.
But it's so weird because we do the popularity poll every year. Takayasu's never really
He's like fine.
super high. He's not in like the top 5 or anything like that. But when it comes to bold prediction times, just all the Takayasu stands come out. It's like, this is the time. It's happening.
It's time.
I just find that interesting.
No.
And then we'll get to the good predictions that were correct, but just not quite as good as our best prediction that will win the T-shirt. Al H said that Shodai will disappoint me in some vague way. That's always correct. By rule, that's
Not
always
super
correct.
bold, but definitely
But
correct.
definitely correct.
Because you just have to look to Flarrick's theory that Shodai always does the opposite of what you expect. Therefore, always disappointing you. We expected Shodai to pull out some amazing stuff in Aki channeling Goedo. He's channeling Goedo in other ways, just not his Aki magic.
Not in the right ways.
So he didn't pull out Aki magic. Therefore, we're disappointed in Shodai.
Yep.
Ed Serrain and William Francis. Both of these guys were really close. Both of them predicted Teruno Fuji Yusho at 13-2. Both of them. Sorry, Flarrick just flinched for no reason.
Violently.
Mac is living in his head rent free at this point.
I looked
Yes.
away for a second, and then I just assumed there'd be a gun pointed at me.
This one almost took the cake because who would predict this and actually get it right? But Brian Widmer predicted a Miyogidu special prize, which he did get
not
the
bad.
technique prize. But the winner of the T-shirt, we will be contacting you on Twitter to get your details for what kind of T-shirt you want and where to deliver it to. This is for Damien Decanur. He predicted Teruno Fuji Yusho at 13-2, but he also added in a few more details. He said his 2 losses would be to Shodai and a slip up to a mid Maegashira. Now, he did not lose to Shodai, but he lost to Meisei. Meisei's kind of close to Shodai.
Yeah,
Just
all right.
one rank away.
Sekiwake is just below Ozeki, and they both finished with an 8-7 record. Good enough for us. And Daisho, Maegashira 4. I think that counts as a mid Maegashira. So congratulations to Damien Decanur. Your T-shirt will be on its way once you tell us where to send it.
Yes.
And then we get to the GSB Awards. We have first up, the Beyblade / Dead or Alive / Rat Award, which we are giving to Kitabayama as he was sent spinning right round, baby, right round and round and round like a record baby during his loss to Daisho on day 7. Also giving the Final Form Award, that is to Takakesho. He finally won a match where Rikishi had a grip on his belt. That was against Hoshoryu on day 4. Hoshoryu had his belt. Takakesho still won. Therefore, this makes me believe that Takakesho has finally achieved a form where he can somehow survive belt battles, which would just make him the fully rounded Rikishi that will get him up to the Yokozuna level we were talking about before. So
He's
congratulations. You made it, Takakesho.
You did.
It's a formality from here on out.
Yeah.
And then the Never Give Up, Never Surrender award goes to Ura for his valiant attempt to not lose when being thrown by Teruno Fuji. Somehow, like, spider crawling his way to Teruno Fuji's belt.
It's ridiculous.
To just be slapped down hilariously by the kaiju.
I ain't heard no bell.
I don't know who wrote the next one. Whoever wrote it, read it.
Okay, fine. The ultimate throwdown of Ultimate Destiny. We needed to come up with something for Hoshoryu's incredible Ippon Zeoi on Wakataka Kage on day 9. So on the midway, generally when we finish recording, like Fleric, we just forget everything we predicted, right?
Yes.
Whatever, we'll record next time. But I specifically remember calling out Hoshoryu, Wakataka Kage, Kitabayama, that triangle would put up some great matches. 2 out of the 3 absolutely delivered, and then the third one was that hilarious kind of henka.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yep.
And I have the long bout award. Those actually goes to 2. So Kitabayama versus Takayasu and Takara Fuji versus Ichinojo. Both of those definitely the longest matches I have ever seen.
They both went over 3 minutes.
Yes.
Ridiculous. Takayasu's got to have like the most ring time. I wish that was something we could measure easily.
Between that and Takara Fuji, I wasn't sure.
Who's got the most like career ring time? Because Hakuho's got a bajillion matches, but I mean they're not all long.
Exactly.
Right? But
Maybe that's why Takayasu is just kind of really kind of hitting a peak and heading down now. Like his body is 31, but his in dohyo body's like 48.
a body's only got about 45 minutes of career sumo time, you know.
And then our match of the basho, we had quite a few good candidates. We had a couple of brawls like Ura versus Teretsuyoshi, Endo versus Chiyo no Kuni. We had a couple of the stamina fests, Takayasu versus Kitabayama, Teruno Fuji versus Ura, Meisei versus Teruno Fuji, that upset
was a
match.
good one.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, we just can't stop throwing enough praises on Hoshoryu for that Ippon Zeoi. And so his day 9 match against Wakataka Kage, where he just pulled that out of nowhere. That was the one moment of the basho that just kind of made me shout out in my job site trailer as I was watching sumo.
It was so perfectly executed. He did everything right.
It was so beautiful, so fast. Like, you could not have predicted that that's where that match was going to go. But, like, it was interesting because he was like, I think he was like pushing Wakataka Kage to the bales, and then he was kind of like getting pushed back himself.
Yeah.
But you could see him, he like had Wakataka Kage's arm, and he was getting a running start. He knew what he was doing. 3 steps back, he got that running start, and then just threw his hips. And, so
and
beautiful.
it wasn't just the finish though. Yeah, like Max said, like there's a lot to that match. I mean, it wasn't super long, but there was like Hoshoryu had the advantage, then Wakataka Kage almost finished him, and that's where he got the grip on that arm and started his like cricket bowler's run all the way across the dohyo to throw.
But then the execution of that was just one fluid motion. He got the trip.
Gorgeous.
He got the momentum going straight forward. Twisted, pulled, perfect torque, perfect execution. Just, again, fantastic.
Possibly the coolest individual move that I have ever seen in sumo. Yeah.
All right. And then let's give out some more Patreon compliments. Fleric, you are first in line, so pull that phone up. Get shot in the neck.
As I pull this thing up.
I'm actually not trying to aim for his neck. I just have bad nose scoping.
Shoot the phone out of his hand.
All right, that one will.
I need this one to know what to do. Okay, as I'm trying to find my place in this area, I have found it. Paul Simpson, you're like Yokozuna Mac. You are a beaver because damn.
What?
And I'm very thankful for what you do.
Barron might be the primary reason for global warming. Is that a compliment?
Because he's so hot. Get it?
Oh,
okay.
Because he's okay.
Josh Schaff, you are smarter than Google and Mary Poppins combined.
Wow, I see we're just skipping over my compliment.
You
Rob
are too
Graham.
slow on the trigger.
Rob Graham, your smile is proof that the best things in life are free. Just like Nerf darts from Yokozuna Mac.
All right, Mac, why don't you just go?
Ryan's giving up. Whatever.
Cole Brumley, in a world full of bagels, you are a donut.
All right, and now I get 2 in a row. Haha.
Well,
ultimately
you
win
can find
in
us
this
on
scenario.
social media.
No, we already did that. Giuseppe Salico, I don't have a favorite color. It's pretty much whatever you're wearing.
Oh.
And Dave Rodriguez, if you were a vegetable, you'd be a cucumber.
Oh, my God.
Dave Rodriguez getting in just under the bell. He joined us as a patron just 2 days ago.
Oh, right on.
Oh, cool.
All right. Favorite moment of the basho. Mac, why don't you kick us off?
Low-hanging fruit, the Apanzioi.
I was going to say it's either that or you shooting Fleric with darts, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, as much as it looks like I'm enjoying this, I'm not.
You
He's
seem
so
to be enjoying it more as the shooting goes on.
I was going to say, yeah, you now have a smile on your face.
It's to mask the pain. It's to mask the injury I feel inside for hurting you.
I believe you, Yokozuna Mac.
Forgive me!
Thank you, Yokozuna Mac. Top 10 anime betrayals.
I'm holding on to these now.
For the sake of variety,
Yeah.
I'm going to say Takakeisho maintaining Ozeki.
Yes.
You know, the Ippon Zayoi, that moment, yeah, absolutely. But I'm super happy Takakeisho still Ozeki.
Mm.
I'm going to stick with the Ippon Zoi from Hoshoryu. That was just fantastic.
I mean, yeah, the Ippon Zayoi for me, but also saying Teruno Fuji living up to our expectations, winning the Yusho when Hakuho was absent, when we knew he was going to win the Yusho, but for that to actually happen was really nice to see. So what is coming up on this podcast? The next basho is going to begin Sunday, November 14th. The Bansuke will be released on November 1st. It is currently scheduled to be in Fukuoka. We'll see how everything goes in Tokyo and Japan to see if they can allow that. Don't shoot me. Don't listen to Fleric. My hand! I have been shot!
It was in the way. I was aiming for Fleric's hands.
Thank you, Yokozuna Mac.
You're welcome.
But before we talk about the November basho, we're going to be having our Bansuke prediction coming out probably early next week.
That wasn't Ryan's hand.
And
He learned.
We'll also have another couple of bonus episodes. I think we might be planning on doing another Ask GSB episode. I think we're going to have some.
We're going to cover some
US
of our
sumo.
Patreon questions
Yep.
that we hit sporadically, but we've got a couple built up. We're just going to do an episode of those
Yep.
in October here.
And I think we probably got some US sumo content coming out between
We sure
tournaments.
do.
All right. So check that out. But other than that, Mac, why don't you shoot Fleric a couple times to take us out?
No.
Move your knuckles.
That is not part of the thing.
All right. And now we all must do our new traditional end to the podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Hold still.
Thank you, Yokozuna Mac.
All right.
Were you going to shoot him or what?
No.
I had not clicked stop yet.
That's the idea.
You take that back.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Until next time.
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.